Hello everybody, so today let's talk a little bit about the conflict of Israel and Palestine, and let's introduce it a little bit first. So the Israel-Palestinian conflict is a long-standing territorial and also political dispute rooted in early 20th century nationalist movement. So following World War I, Britain controlled Palestine and tension grew between Jewish Zionists and also Arab nationalists. In 1948, Israel declared independence, sparking a war with neighboring Arab states and leading to significant territorial changes and the displacement of many Palestinians. Subsequent wars, notably in 1967, so Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and also East Jerusalem. Despite peace efforts like Oslo Accords in the 90s, which aimed at two-state solution, violence persists, including Palestinian uprising known as intifadas and conflicts involving Gaza's Hamas government. The core issues: Jerusalem's status, Israeli settlement, and also Palestinian refugees, rights of return, mutual recognition. So all of this remain in the result. The conflict is today perpetuating, and we will talk today with three actors and about their view of this conflict.
I believe that maintaining security and stability in this region is crucial. While this may result in some inevitable sacrifice, but our goal is to ensure peace and security.
So now let's interview another local Palestinian citizens.
I lost my family during the war, and the IDF told us to evacuate to this place. But all we want is to have a peaceful life, not this war, or stupid war. And I don't know why this is happening to me, but all I want is a peace. And I don't know when can I get back home. Just hope that this war can end soon.
So now we are with the Gaza civilians, and let's ask to him how he is living this war.
We live in constant fear. Violence erupt any day, from military actions or other form of conflict. We long for peace, but it feels like we're trapped in the endless nightmare. Our lives are plagued by war and insecurity, and it's tearing us apart. We just want the chance to live without fear, to see our children grow up in a world where peace is more than just a single word.
And now I'm with civilians, and let's ask him what is his view about the war of Palestine and Israel.
Seeing the people of this region suffer such pain and destruction is heartbreaking, and I hope the world can pay more attention on their plights and see a long-term peaceful solution. And this conflict not only brings humanitarian disasters, but also deeply touches our conscience and moral values.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aura. Let's move to the role of China in this war. Since the beginning of the crisis in the Middle East, often named as Hamas-Israel conflict, China has been paying ceaseless effort to condemn Israeli military action against Palestinian people. Let's take a closer look at what has happened in the United Nations. The very first draft resolution of the Security Councils was put forth by Brazil on October 23rd last year. A draft resolution that would have called for humanitarian pause to allow full access for United Nations agency and their partner, as well as condemning the terrorist attack by Hamas. However, due to the veto cast by the US, another permanent member of the Council, the draft failed to be adopted. Yet this draft resolution gathered support from 12 Council members, including China, France, with two other permanent members. The United Kingdom and Russia Federation abstained. China's support for this draft resolution was because it has been adopting a pretty realistic approach in international relations for the past decades. In order to counter the US position for Israel, China and Russia in the UN had typically engaged in refusing any claims to condemn terrorist attack by Hamas, or to even specify Hamas as a terrorist organization. Unlike Russia's abstention, it seems China was more interested in a ceasefire and therefore made its compromise on the Security Council that day to condemn Hamas. This vote marks China's position in the Middle East crisis. One controversial event regarding China's effort on the situation in the Middle East was China, along with Russia, vetoing the draft resolution proposed by the US on March 23 this year. The US Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield furiously claimed that Russia and China were doing nothing meaningful to advance peace. In response to the condemnation by the US, China's Ambassador Zhang Jun excused China's veto by saying the draft resolution proposed by the US is ambiguous on the key issues. He said, "With a view to safeguarding the UN Charter and the dignity of the Council, together with the view of the Arab states, China therefore voted against the US draft resolution." He also pointed to the new draft resolution from the 10 elected council members now circulating. This draft resolution is clear on the issue of a ceasefire, and is in line with the correct direction of the council actions, and is of great relevance. China supports this draft. As Zhang Jun promised, 3 days later, China voted for the new draft endorsed by the 10 elected council members. This resolution was adopted by the Security Council as Resolution 2728, with a vote of 14 in favor to, none against, and 1 abstention by the US. It demands an immediate ceasefire for the month of Ramadan, respected by all parties, leading to a lasting, sustainable ceasefire. China's diplomatic effort is not only within the UN. On May 6 this year, China hosted the reconciliation talks between Hamas and Fatah. Hamas and Fatah are the 2 main factions in the Palestinian region. Hamas controls the Gaza Strip, while Fatah rules the Western Bank. The 2 factions separated after the election in 2006. The fight tearing the Palestine into 2 different governments, further dispersing the land that was already scattered. The meeting this month, held by China, was meant to end Palestinian political divisions. China's position is often seen as a more neutral place, compared with the US and Russia having some sort of interference in the Middle East. China, with less interference in the Middle East, would be a better place to hold reconciliation talks, and if possible, a new ally for each faction. Of course, to host such a talk is also China's projection of its soft power. The US alignment with Israel has caused a power vacuum in the Middle East. Will China see it as a chance to strengthen its influence in the region? Since the war, China has been using the conflict to discredit the US in the Middle East and the developing world, and to strengthen its own position. Like Iran and Saudi Arabia, China is trying to portray itself as a regional diplomatic facilitator, showing they can do what the US cannot. The next day after the talk, on May 7th, France and China joined called for Israel not to launch an offensive in Gaza. Despite growing divergent perspective between European countries and China on various issues. Now let's switch to the economic perspective.
The Hamas-Israel conflict might impact the global prices and shipment most. The war may be prolonged or extend to the other Middle East regions, which are all oil supply countries, and those nations are also the key shipping channel for global trade. Oil prices often spike due to the fears of supply distributions, leading to higher costs across industries. Financial markets become volatile, eroding investors' confidence. Supply chain distributions can delay shipments and increase costs, while tourism and travel declines, affecting related industries. Shifts in political and economic alliance and potential sanctions further alter global trade and economic relations. Overall, these conflicts create widespread economic uncertainty and volatility.